Hello, I hope you're well. Today I'm going to review Damage by Josephine Hart. I've spoken about this book so much on the channel because I absolutely adore it. It's the most disturbing book I've ever read. It's very creepy, it psychologically stays with you as well. Not in good ways within the book, but I am so glad I read this book. I feel like I got so much out of it. It's such a brilliant book. And this is going to be turned into a Netflix 3-part series, which I'm very excited for because I hope that inspires more people to go out and buy the book and read the book. So I'm going to give you a spoiler-free review, and then the second half of this video I'm going to get into a spoiler, but I'm not going to ruin the ending of the book for you at all. So, spoiler-free, this is about affair. That's it. This is all this really bases around is an affair. And it's about a man who he's a doctor and now he's a politician. He has a wife, 2 children, very happy life. And then one of his children, Martin, introduces his girlfriend Anna, and he starts an affair with his son's girlfriend Anna. And Anna is harbouring a dark secret that I'm not going to reveal until the second half of the video. But she has this dark secret and she's really lost within the book. I really felt that she was so vulnerable. Throughout the whole book, I was like panicking. I was like, Anna, like, stop the affair, something's going to happen. And throughout the whole book, there's foreshadowing that tragedy is coming, that the actions of this affair is going to cause mass tragedy. He's going to ruin people's lives with this affair, and he's very addicted to Anna. So it's not that he's just having an affair because he's attracted to her. She's like a drug to him. He can't get away from her. He can't escape her in any kind of way. When the book starts, on the first page of the book, it says, it's from the point of view of the politician, and he says, I didn't die in my 50th year, but many people think it's a tragedy that I didn't die. So you know something's terrible's happened, then the story happens. So it's already told you tragedy is coming, and then throughout the whole book there's this foreshadowing of tragedy. And as soon as he meets Anna on the first time, he's introduced, Martin says, this is my girlfriend. Instant connection between the two of them, but it's not a normal romantic connection. It's a I can't live without you kind of connection. I'm obsessed with you. I'm going to stalk you to the ends of the earth kind of really horrible connection they have between each other. And then she goes along with all of this, and then her and Martin become engaged, and the politician starts to panic because he's worried that it's going to come out to his family that he's having an affair, or that I can't let my son marry a woman I'm having an affair with. It's because he wants to marry Anna himself. He wants Anna. And it also goes into the idea that you can have a successful life from the outside, but on the inside you hate your own life, even though you got everything you ever asked for. So the politician, he was a doctor, he was successful, then became a politician, so he has power now. He's got a wife, he's got 2 children, he's financially like stable, yet he's never felt fulfilled. He's always felt like he's going through the motions of life but never fully living life until he meets Anna. And now he feels like his whole life has been asleep, and now he's finally awake and alive with Anna, if only he can keep this relationship with Anna going. And Anna also, she has this dark secret, and she realizes that she damages people, but she can't understand why does all this bad stuff happen to me, and why can't a man just love me? Why has it got to be this obsessive love? Because she's had this before in her past. And she is also equally addicted to him, and they get an apartment together. That's where they have their affair. In the apartment a lot happens. That's the spoiler-free part of it. So turn off if you don't want a spoiler. This won't spoil the whole book for you. I'm just going to reveal what Anna's secret is, which she reveals to the politician. So Anna and the politician are having this relationship, and then she reveals to him a secret about her brother. And when they were younger, her brother revealed that he was in love with her, romantically and sexually, incestuously in love with her. And he knew it was wrong, and he didn't know what to do about it, and he committed suicide. So that's her secret, that the worst thing that could have ever happened to her was her brother's death, because she really doesn't have a lot of other people within her life. She's a very lonely person, and the only person she had to depend on was her brother. And she thinks, did my brother kill himself because of me? Was it my fault because he fell in love with me? Why do men fall in love with me in this way that is so addicted, like I'm some kind of drug. I don't understand it. Is it me? Am I damaging everyone around me? I can't understand. And from Anna's point of view, she's got this great relationship with Martin, who's her fiance, but then she's sleeping with Martin's dad and she can't seem to keep away from him and he can't keep away from her, and they're very addicted to each other. But she knows this is going to end in tragedy. About the whole book I was like, Anna, what the hell are you doing? Like, no, because she's so, like, doesn't know what's happening in her life, and you kind of feel like she's a bit hopeless because of her brother's suicide. She's like, well, the worst thing that can happen to me has happened to me, so anything else, it can never be as bad as that tragedy that I had with my brother. And am I secretly evil? Did I do something to make my brother feel that way towards me? Did I cause his suicide? It's very disturbing because obviously it's like an incestuous thing, and it's the kind of secret you can't tell people, so that makes her very isolated. You can't tell people about that your brother had those feelings towards you, because that will obviously change the family's perception of your brother. So she can never reveal why her brother committed suicide, but she also just can't confide that in other people because other people wouldn't understand. It's such a sickening thing. It gets under your skin. Like, that bit is just like, what? Like, it really, you can realise how she's so trapped in this secret, and that she's kind of hopeless. Like, nothing else matters. I know that something's gonna happen to Martin. He's gonna be upset that I'm sleeping with his dad. I know I'm gonna devastate lives, but I've already had this devastating thing happen to me, which I can't talk to anyone about, which I'm completely trapped in, and there's nothing I can do about it because I'm not going to tell people what my brother's real feelings were. So that's very disturbing. There's a bit where she goes on holiday with Martin. It's a romantic holiday, and the politician tracks her down, hunts her down on this romantic holiday, and then they end up just being together. Like, they always just end up together all the time, even though they know it's wrong and they shouldn't. They can't stop it, and it's very panicking throughout the whole thing. You're thinking, oh my god, someone's going to find out, this is going too far, what's going to happen? Very tragic book. The tagline is, damaged people are dangerous, they know they can survive. And that's very much her. She's like, I damage people, I don't know why, but I know I can survive anything that happens to me because I've survived the worst. I'm not going to tell you how this ends. I've just decided I'm not going to tell you the ending because I really want you to read it, and I feel when I know the ending of a book, I'm less likely to pick up the book. So I'm not going to tell you how it ends, but it's an absolutely fantastic book, and I'm going to read you some of the first lines right at the beginning of the book so you can get an idea of what the writing style's like. There is an eternal landscape, a geography of the soul. We search for its outlines all our lives. Those who are lucky enough to find it ease like water over a stone, onto its fluid contours, and are home. I have been at bedsides of the dying, who looked puzzled at their family's grief, as they left a world in which they had never felt at home. And that's very much the politician. He had everything he wanted, yet he was never really satisfied until he met Anna. And now he feels that he finally understands what living is and what life is. And then the whole book just like hurtles out of control in front of you. Also, I'm just editing the video and I forgot one point, which is who is truly in charge. If you read the book, do you think the politician is in charge of everything? Or do you think Anna is actually the mastermind of everything, and that she is in charge of the politician and his son, and she is doing this to try and work through her own tragedy and pain because of her brother? She's using them to work through it, and that she is actually masterminding everything, because at the end he loses everything and then she seemingly is goes on with her life. We don't know what happens to her. We don't know. It's just left a mystery. I could have had a whole book about Anna, and a whole book about Anna after Damage ends, what happened to her, because we know what happens to him, but we don't know what happens to her because it's told from his point of view, and he doesn't have contact with her. We don't know what happened to her, but does she go on to damage other people's lives? Is she truly the wrecker of the whole thing, and that this is her plan and her instincts and the way she works, and she can't stop herself from reacting in these ways, and this is going to play out over and over again with different men throughout her life? I don't know. Initially I thought he was in charge, the politician, and then by the end I didn't know who was in charge. I felt like they were both out of control. To be perfectly honest with you, I thought no one was in control. They were both out of control and didn't know what they were doing. Oh, it is such a good book. It's very, like, psychologically will really get in your head, and then you're thinking, like, who's good, who's bad, I don't know. Like, I understand they're having an affair, but then, like, Anna's so vulnerable within it, and it's like he's addicted to a drug, but she's a human. But is she a human to him, or what is she? Is she everything he never wanted? Like, you could do a whole, like, psychological paper on this whole book. You could probably do it on, like, 2 chapters of the book, because there's so much that happens each chapter that psychologically gets into the characters. I adore this book. This book was turned into a film. It was published in 1991, and then a year later it was turned into a very successful film. The film is fantastic, very true to the book. And then it was also turned into an opera, which I can really imagine it as an opera because it's such a tragedy that it was turned into a Greek opera. And then 2022 it's going to be turned into a 3-part Netflix drama. That's when the news was announced. So I'm going to end this video here. I hope you pick up Damage by Josephine Hart. It's an absolutely fantastic book. It was Josephine's first novel. It's absolutely stunning. Tell me if you pick it up what you think of it. It is disturbing, of course there are disturbing elements within it, but it's a book that's just so beautifully written, and it's so about the soul and purpose within life, and what happens if you don't meet purpose and then one day you do. Would you give everything up for it? There's so many, like, questions you could ask yourself from this book. I adore it. So I'm going to stop babbling on about it. I'm going to end this video here. I'm making daily videos, so come back tomorrow for another video, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching this review, and I'll see you tomorrow for another video.